So now we have our loving kindness session, and theory is one thing, practice is another. So you need to practice it in order to see the effectiveness of the method. Need to apply it. So the application is in two ways. One way is to develop it mentally, because if there is no loving kindness cultivated in the mind, then you will not be able to produce it in the physical action. In other words, if you cultivate loving kindness in your mind with regards to your loved ones, then when it arises, then it teaches you the way on how to apply your loving kindness. In other words, you speak gently, you speak kindly, you speak to your loved ones with concern. So, if you are doing that, then you have done both. You have generated the loving kindness in your mind, or you have developed the loving kindness in your mind, and then you're putting it into action by way of speech. When you speak kindly, gently, and you speak with care, or body action, when your loved one is sick, then you cook for them, you prepare food suitable for them, you prepare hot water for them. So that is the physical action. Now, loving kindness is a very, very wonderful types of meditation, because of this caring. Once you care, learn to care, and in this course, you learn to care for one by one. You started with your self, for your loved ones, for your friends, strangers, and even enemies. And after that, you expanded into the all beings in the whole world and universe. So that is the unlimited aspects of developing the loving kindness. So you learn step by step to cover each individual. So you know how to practice. When there is this loving kindness, how are you to behave or react towards various types of people? So in this course, we have covered the loving kindness to yourself. You must learn how to be kind to yourself. That is very important. Don't make yourself miserable. Don't make yourself sad, unhappy. Whenever there is these unhappy thoughts in your mind, then you must be aware that there is unhappy thoughts in your mind, and you are hurting yourself. You're making yourself miserable. So you should get rid of the unhappy thoughts. So you say, may I be well, peaceful, and happy. So you change object from the mind becoming sad in an unpleasant object. Now you change the object to metta object, to kindness object, to your own self. So in that way, the unhappy feeling disappear, and you become neutral or happy. Either you become neutral feeling or you become happy if there is this kindness towards yourself. So therefore, metta meditation is wholesome. So it only has these two types of feeling arises. It only arises with equanimity or happy feeling. But opposite the metta, loving kindness, is the one that is ill will, hatred, anger, frustration, sadness. It's the opposite. So if you don't practice loving kindness, then the opposite will arise if they are strong. In other words, there's only happy, unhappy, and neutral. So if you are not happy, then most of the time, if you are neutral or you are unhappy, right? So if you are not neutral, then you're unhappy. So therefore, you need to cultivate metta so that you have more neutral and happy feelings. And this neutral feeling is wholesome neutral feeling. In other words, when it arises, the mind becomes peaceful, it becomes stable. So it is a wholesome neutral. Neutral got wholesome or unwholesome, right? The unwholesome neutral is you feel bored. If you don't enjoy pleasant objects, seeing, smelling, tasting, touching, after a certain time, you feel bored. So that is the unwholesome type of neutral. But if you develop the neutral that arises with the loving kindness, you won't go bored. It is the peacefulness, tranquility type of neutral feeling, and become more apparent and strong as it grows. The more you cultivate the loving kindness, the more this neutral feeling develops, the more you feel peaceful and calm. So there's these two types of the neutral: wholesome, unwholesome. In fact, there are altogether 10 types. If you study Abhidhamma, abstract Buddhism, there are 10 types of neutral feelings that are explained in the scripture. But concerning with our meditation, I'm just explaining the two types of neutral feelings, wholesome, unwholesome, which is different. Feeling is important because there are only 3 types: wholesome, happy, unhappy, and neutral. So if you don't have happy feeling, most of the chances are you will have unhappy feeling. So when you have an unhappy feeling or you have a neutral feeling that is unwholesome, it is still not happy. So the importance of bringing up, make your loving kindness strong, so that you either have the neutral feeling which is peaceful and calm and contented, or you have the happy feelings that come with caring. It arises in your mind when you care for someone or you care for yourself. So loving kindness is important for your happiness. So how do these loving kindness arises in your mind? You need to make it habitual. So how is it habitual? By constantly repeating to yourself that you want to be happy, you want to be peaceful, you want to be free from pain, mental or physical pain. You want to care for yourself. You want to make yourself happy. Important. When you care for yourself, you want to make yourself happy. Just as you care for your parents, you care for your spouse, you want to make them happy. You buy food that they like to eat, or you cook food they like to eat, or you buy shirt for them that looks nice on them, or you say nice word to them to make them happy. So, when you care for yourself, you want to make yourself happy. So you must remind yourself, I want to make myself happy. So when you are not happy, you are sad, Then what do? Away. I want to make myself happy. May I be well, peaceful, happy. Now that is loving kindness to yourself. So you must put it into practice and make it a part of your life and make it a part of you. That it becomes spontaneous, that it arises spontaneously, only when it is so. So when I say spontaneously, it means that you have developed strong kindness to yourself, and then you can test it to yourself. Am I aware when I'm sad? Only the whole day I'm sad, then I'm aware. Then your mindfulness is very weak. Your loving kindness is very weak. It lasted the whole day, then only you are aware. Then you say, oh, now only I aware. May I be well, peaceful and happy. May I make myself happy. So your mindfulness is very weak. You suffer the whole day of sadness. You suffer unhappiness the whole day. Then only at night you start to know, hey, I'm so happy, unhappy today. Right now. So what does it shows? It shows that your loving kindness to yourself is weak. It is not strong. So these are the tests. The barometer, these are the tests which you use to test yourself. How strong is your loving kindness? Or how strong is your mental cultivation of loving kindness? Have you practiced enough? Do you practice? Do you keep radiating the loving kindness to yourself? May I be well, peaceful, happy. May I make myself happy. May I be free from mental, physical pain. May I be free from mental, physical pain. May I take care of my mind, take care of my body. Did you do that? Did you try to register, make it strong, the caring for yourself? And what you develop is the mindfulness. And the mindfulness will arise when you are not caring for yourself, when you become opposite. When you have lights and suddenly the light glows on, that there is darkness. So what do? You know there is no light. Right? Something goes wrong. You feel there's no light. So the same way, when you're sad, at once the mindfulness arises. Okay, there's no light, there's no mindfulness, there's no loving kindness to myself. And so in that way, you change the object. Don't cling on to the unpleasant object because it drags you down, drags your mind down and down, can make you depressed. There are people who become very depressed because the object has pulled them down, pulled the mind down, because they are not aware, because they are not practice loving kindness to themselves. Now you should do that, object by object, so that you cover all the object. The moment you perceive the object, you know what to do. You know how to practice because you have covered them in detail one by one. If you do it general, the whole thing, you do not know how to do it to one by one because you do it all general. The whole thing. May all beings be well, peaceful, happy. And what is all these beings? Unless you go to one by one. When you're skilled, then when you say all beings, you are skilled because you have already gone through one by one. You're already skilled. You're practicing one by one. But if you don't do that, if you do it general, you will not know how to practice one by one. Okay? Then you do it to your loved ones that we have covered in the previous lesson. And we talk about who are your loved ones, your spouse, your children, your parents, they are your loved ones, right? And perhaps brothers and sisters could be loved ones too. They're very close to you, of same blood, right? So how do you treat your brothers and sisters? If you can, if they are in trouble, if you can help them, with metta, loving kindness, try to do your best. If you can't, then there is no choice. There is no choice. Loving kindness and compassion, there's a big difference between loving kindness and compassion. Compassion, once you practice compassion, brings a lot of pain to themselves. Yeah? They just want to help people, they just want to release their suffering, and they do everything to release their suffering, sometimes at the expense of their own happiness. Even if they're very tired, they still go and help other people. They don't care. Any people who are suffering, they want to help, whether loved ones or strangers or enemies. And so when they suffer, they still don't care, because compassion is directed towards suffering beings, not to themselves. But loving kindness encompasses yourself as well. All are equal. So when you try to help others, you always think of yourself as well. Now, if I have $100, and if there is this poor person who come to borrow the $100 from me, who is my friend, and I would think to myself, okay, I'd like to help you, but I can't help you $100 because I need some for myself, for my family. So metta is different from compassion. Compassion just don't bother. Okay, you are in suffering, you need the money, now take, I have this money, you take it. Different. So the Bodhisattva, to become a Sammasambuddha, a Bodhisattva must have 100% compassion. At the sake of his own suffering, he doesn't bother. One of the requisites, if the Buddha were to tell this Bodhisattva before he is confirmed to be a Bodhisattva, two types of Bodhisattva. One is confirmed by Buddha, means he's sure to become a Buddha. Another is unconfirmed. He's a Bodhisattva. He calls himself Bodhisattva. He's unconfirmed by Buddha. So anytime he can get out of it. He do not want to be a Bodhisattva anymore. So if the Buddha want to confirm him, then the Buddha says, okay, supposing the whole world is not easy to be a Buddha. It's charcoal hot, and you were to walk barefooted the whole world in order to become a Buddha, Sammasambuddha, to save the ignorant people, all those who are ignorant, and are able to give them the Dharma to save them from the rounds of suffering, samsara. Will you do that? And the Bodhisattva will say, yes, of course, I will do that. But if the Bodhisattva were to say, like that, I think first, finish already. Cannot be Bodhisattva already. So he think for himself. Wow, so painful. Wow, how to do it? Finish already. Cannot be Sammasambuddha already. The compassion is 100%. It must be, yes, no problem. Walk through the whole world on barefooted. If it is burning charcoal, no problem. That is what makes a Buddha so great. Selfless. He will do 100% to eliminate the suffering of another person, all beings, and other beings, living beings. He will do that without a second thought. That is why a Buddha is so great. So the practice of loving kindness and compassion, in meditation they are different. The way is also different. The practice is different. The attainment is different. Even though loving kindness and compassion, they are the Brahma world, but their way to the Brahma world, the practice, they differ. They are not the same way of practice. In meditation, they are different way of practice. So in the practice of loving kindness, you started with yourself. That is by way we follow the scripture step by step. But you could also start with anybody you like, with your loved ones. You can start with them, your children, your spouse, your parents, without having to go to yourself first. But in this course, we are going step by step. We cover step by step, Be a sequence that it is easier to do yourself first, but sometimes not necessary. Sometimes you feel loving kindness to myself. Wow, I don't feel any kindness. I don't feel any kindness to myself. But if I think of my loved ones, then I got feeling. Then I got feeling of kindness. You think of your children, the one that you love the most. When you think of them, then you feel a kind of feeling arises. Sometimes pleasant feeling, sometimes neutral feeling, but cannot be painful feeling. If it's painful feeling, unpleasant feeling, then the mind has swayed away from the metta. Even though you are practicing caring to your loved ones, but it is no longer the caring. It has become unwholesome. If you think of your loved one, she's sick, then you say, may he be free from sicknesses, mental and physical pain. Then your mind, a lot of worries. I don't know whether he will get cured or today or tomorrow. How long the sickness is going to persist. Because even though we are chanting, our thoughts still run all over. And when it's anchored on the unpleasant object, even though it's your loved ones, the anchor on unpleasant things, whether he get cured or not tomorrow, day after, or next week, or will he become more serious? So that becomes unpleasant feeling. Then you have to note. It is no longer loving kindness to your loved ones. It has gone to the ill will. Mind has gone into ill will. So the knowing, come back. May my loved ones be free from suffering, be free from physical pain. Must bring it back. Mind has swayed to the other side. Even though you're practicing loving kindness, but the mind arises with a lot of ill will, come to the other side. Why is it so? Because of attachment, because of worries. So we have dragged the mind over to unwholesomeness. Because we are so used to worry about your loved ones. So even when you try to practice loving kindness, it goes into the worries. So we have to strengthen the wholesome part. We have to strengthen the caring part. And so the worry do not arise. If it arises, you ought to note it, knowing your metta is not strong. When you think of your loved ones, instead of loving kindness, it has gone to sorrow. Okay? So we go. The brothers and sisters, if you can help them, if you are young, probably if they ask you to some homework, they don't understand, you spend some time to help them do the homework. That is loving kindness. That is kindness between brothers and sisters. So sometimes brothers and sisters, one of them needs some money and need to borrow, and you lend it to them. Then that is kindness. So all this is kindness. And so kindness is important. Kindness strengthens the dana, strengthens the giving. Kindness strengthens the precepts. If you practice metta, loving kindness, your precepts become very strong. Why? Because you don't hurt people. You don't kill. If you have kindness, you can't kill living beings. You see the snail there on your flower pot, and you take it and put it on the floor and you step on it. If you have kindness, you could not kill it. Right? So it strengthened the panati patawe ramani, abstain from killing. It strengthened so your precept becomes strong, non-killing, non-stealing. You can't take things from other people. If you have kindness, you know that they will feel miserable if they lost something precious. Neither can you lie to harm another person or to speak bad about other person when you have kindness. Sexual misconduct, you don't harm and hurt another, opposite sex. And you don't harm yourself. You don't drink, you don't take liquor, you don't sell drugs because of kindness. So when you practice loving kindness, it enhances your precepts, makes your precepts very strong. And that is a requisite for rebirth in the heavenly world. want to practice metta. That is why one who practices loving kindness meditation, the least they could go to is the Deva world. If they get into absorption, they are in the Brahma world. And when they gain very strong concentration, then the Buddha says they gain enlightenment. Because once the mind becomes so peace and calm, reality reveals themselves. Then you start to see things as they really are. Then you gain Makka power, path and fruition. Become an arahant. And escape from the whole mess of suffering. Arises from where? From delusion. Suffering arises because of delusion. You think of things as it is, but it is not is. Think that is real, you think it's unreal. Things that is unreal, you think it is real. That is why we suffer, because of ignorance, because we cannot see. Why can't you see? Because there is no wisdom, so you can't see, or you can't perceive. Alright? So, metta to brothers and sisters, try to help them if you can. And the next one we come to friends. So today, what about friends? It is easy to have metta to friends too. Sometimes your brothers and sisters become enemies, so it's quite difficult to do metta to them. So they become classified under the unpleasant person, become enemies. So you need to do a lot of wise reflection, which will come to it after the neutral person. Okay, then we come to go to do that. They cover under the enemy section. Even though they are brothers and sisters, even though they are dear ones, they cover under them. Sometimes even the dear ones become enemies to you. Alright? Now, metta to friends. What are friends? Friends are someone you get along with. You call them friends because you find that they help you. You trust them. You call them friends because you know they don't harm you. They don't harm you. So if they harm you, they are no longer friends. So generally, when you say, he's a good friend, we mean that he cares for you, he looks after you. Most important thing is, if you have kindness to your friends, try to show them the right path, try to bring them into Buddhism. If it is the right path, and we were to bring people to the right path, when it comes to our third, and in many lives, when we come to our third, when we are searching for a way out, when we are in delusion, when we are in suffering, when we need the Dhamma, real Dhamma, somebody will show us the way out. Somebody will show us the way out. Why? Because in our life we have shown people the way. When it comes to our third, the resultant karma that we have done in the past, that we have shown people the way. So therefore it comes back to us. The path is open. Just as when I recollect myself, when I was in deep pain and suffering, with a lot of fear, I see no way out. I search everywhere, I pray, and I can't find the way out. Until one day I came into the temple and somebody gave a Dhamma talk, a private discussion between themselves, 2 or 3 of them. The moment I heard the Dhamma, my whole body quaked, like an earthquake was shaken up. At once, in my mind, I say to myself, oh, I have found the way out. I have found the path. Yes, but it is not someone who come to talk to me. No, it is I who search. They were just talking among themselves. And I was wandering from place to place to search for the Dhamma. But the important thing is, I found it. I found it. I found the Dhamma. Why? Probably in the past too. I've shown the way, so I found it again. So to bring people to the Dhamma is important to the Buddhists. That is why I've been teaching 40 over years, giving Dhamma talks, teaching meditation. Why? Because I found it. If they would not have taught Dhamma to me, I would be lost. But because I found it, so therefore I should share. That in my future life, if I'm not an Arahant, I'm still in samsara, in this birth and death, I hope I'll find it again. The way is still there for me. So we should have this in mind, that if we show people the way, when we are lost, the resultant karma is you'll find the way, no matter what. You'll find the way, because that is the resultant of your good karma. So a good friend is, you probably try to reach out to them. If you can't reach out to them, then there is no choice, but you try. Just as Sariputta and his good friends, they were both searching for the way, but they couldn't find it. And so they pledged to each other that whoever finds the way must promise to repeat that to them. So they make a pledge and a promise to each other. And so when one of them found the way, becomes the Sotapan, first state of sainthood, he quickly proceeds to the other and to tell them the good news that I have found the way, I found the real way, and so this is what I heard. And so he relayed the message, took them to see the Buddha. So that should be the spirit of a Buddhist. That should be, we will try whatever it is, whether it's our loved ones, which is very important, our parents, our brothers, sisters, our siblings, our relatives, or spouse, try to show them the way. Right? And friends too. And so, metta to friends, how do you practice kindness to your friends when they are sick? Then you should drop by to see them. It is a difficult thing to do, but you need efforts, to make efforts, to go and see them, show your concern and caring. Because the metta builds up by way of caring. If you don't care for somebody, somebody won't care for you. It is the cause and effect. When you care for somebody, then somebody care for you. It is not a one-way street. It is a two-way street. In Hokkien we say ulai ukia, two-way street. It's not just one way. It's not all the time people caring for you, but you don't care back. No, one day they get disgusted and they won't care for you anymore. It is a two-way street. And friends, it's important to show you care. You visit them, they will visit you when it's your time. Right? So if you don't visit you, means it is alright, and you are not sick in hospital. Right? So you show your caring. That's what a friend should be. Take care of each other. If they are in the wrong path, show them the right path. Tell them that, hey, don't do this is not right, it is wrong. Don't do that, it's bad karma. But if you do that, you hurt yourself. Right? So this is metta to friends. Friends are like loved ones. Now, what about strangers? Sometimes they may be strangers, but it's easier to show loving kindness to stranger than to our loved ones or friends or whatever it is. Why is it so? Why? Why is it sometimes easier to do to strangers? Because they don't come with the baggages. When you you think about your brother, sister, sometimes you think about the bad things they've done to you. It's connected very fast. The mind works in a super speed. You could think of all the good things, but sometimes you think about all the bad things. So it is connected. The foam and the waves, they are together. You think of the waves, but it comes with the foam. So when you radiate loving kindness, there is always something that is not pleasant connected to that person. And you find that your loving kindness is not strong because you try to think good things, bad things also come together with the object, unpleasant things that comes. But stranger, no baggage. It doesn't come with all these bad things because they are strangers. People that you don't know well. They are your newspaper man selling vegetable in the morning. You buy vegetable from, they are your postman. So you say when you see a postman, you're happy. You presume they bring good tidings lah, unless they bring income tax form lah. Then you get angry lah. Otherwise, you see a postman, you're very happy, right? You say, I got a letter, I got mail. Depends on what mail lah. When you open it, then you know lah. But he's a stranger, so it's very nice. And when he says selamat pagi, and you always say back selamat pagi, good morning, good morning. It is easy to have metta to strangers. They don't carry baggages. They don't carry all those things that you know so well. Sometimes spouse as well. So they say there's always this love and hate relationship. One moment you love so much, next moment you hate like what? You fight like cats and dogs. So there is this love and hate relationship. Sometimes with parents as well. You love your parents so well, so much, and sometimes the parent love the children so much, and sometimes they cane them like what? Like caning dog like that. So it carries with the baggages. Carries with the things that you like along with the things you don't like. And so the question is, Brother James, should I start with my metta to stranger first? Because when I think of stranger, it's much easier for my loving kindness to arise. When I think about myself, there is no kindness to myself there, it's just words. But I think of stranger, the newspaper man, then I feel very happy. So I say, well, you could do that yourself, but in the course, we go one by one. We cover them. That is what the scripture says. We follow the scriptures. The rest is use your own intelligence in your practice. Unless you have problem, then you ask me. So I'll try to guide you. That's what I'm here for, to share my knowledge and to guide you through my experience. I think we stop here for today because we're going to do some meditation. And any question for today's talk? We cover the stranger next session, alright? Any question? But in the practice, we'll cover the strangers. When I talk about strangers, you think about who is the stranger, your newspaper man, your bread man, or cake shop man, or woman, someone that you don't have much connection with. Not much connection, it's just that you buy things every day, you just meet them. Your letter man, and post office man, and others. No question? Okay, we are going to do 15 minutes of meditation, and if you're sleepy, please go and wash your face. If your leg is painful, if you like to try, you could do standing meditation. No lying down meditation. You can even walk if you want, if there's space for you to walk. So let us meditate. So keep your mind peaceful and calm. Just tell yourself, I'm going to meditate. I'm going to cultivate loving kindness today. I'm going to put my mind there. Meditation is like a work. You just can't sit there and do nothing. It's like working, it's like intention, it's like doing something. It's cultivation, bringing out loving kindness that you have not done it constantly. So you try to do it. Make it habitual so that you have more loving kindness to yourself and others, to your loved ones, and you'll be more peaceful and happy. Now we go to relaxation. Just direct attention to your forehead area. Consciously relax it. Just say to yourself, relax, relax. Go to the eyes area. Look down on the floor. Gently close your eyelids. Go to your mouth area, put a gentle smile on your lips. You're going to make yourself happy, so don't frown. Down your body, move your arms and fingers, legs and toes. Now bring up your mindfulness, your attention to your meditation. We are going to develop mindfulness of loving kindness. Okay, let's share merits. Please repeat after me. With this Metta meditation, acquiring great merits, I share these merits with my house protecting devas and devas everywhere. I share these merits with my dear departed relatives. I share these merits with all beings, seen and unseen, near and far, big and small, strong and weak. May all beings everywhere be well and happy, sharing these merits. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Rub the palms together, make it warm. Rub your face, your neck, arms, shoulder, legs.